This week's episode is sponsored by the 2025 Buffalo Stampede Festival by Single Track Events. Find your epic and run with nature. Sign up at www.buffalostampede.au. Welcome to episode number 382 of the Inside Running Podcast. Thanks for being with us for another week. Bit to get through this week. We've got another Australian record to talk about. A few results from overseas, including Seville Marathon and Osaka Marathon. Moose will go on the loose. We've got another good listener question. Croaks has been picking real good listener questions lately. I've been enjoying the in-depth chats we've had with those ones. And we're going to preview a bit of stuff that's coming up. Welcome to my co-host. He's down in Anglesea, the biggest name in Australian shoe industry. Julian Spence, welcome to you.
Unofficial, mate. That
unofficial? Be close, though, wouldn't it?
That pop up. What was that list that you read that time about the influencers?
That was Runner's World. So I think you're third.
You'll have to do a run.
Just shoe industry though.
Pull a Runner's World poll, please. I'm going to need to see something on paper before I start attaching that to my what do you call it? Signature on your email.
Oh yeah, get it in there. That could be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know? At the very start of this, I reckon maybe 6 years ago, we talked about how douchey LinkedIn is.
Yeah.
It's still as douchey as it was back then.
Hasn't got it. I just don't get it. Not being in the corporate world, I just don't understand it.
You've got it though, don't you?
No, I don't have it at all. No.
Oh, you don't. Croaks would have it.
Well, I use it for Patreon stalking.
Swimming Australia, Croaks, you would have had it then.
Nah, I've never been into it at all. But I use it to research people.
Yeah, it'd be good for that. Let me welcome you, Croaks, because you've had a week, the last couple of weeks, or the last 7 days, you've been in the trenches on social media. Our boy's been getting absolutely hammered, Moose, for his comments on Jacob Kiplimo last week. Hasn't responded to one of the messages, but people have been going really hard on him. And, I've been feeling for you, Croaks, but you're still here this week and you haven't been cancelled, which has been great.
I'm fine, Brady. There's only been a few people that have disagreed. And actually, who put up the poll? Was it you or Zaka? It was
Zaka does all that stuff.
It was like 86% with me, 14% against. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good percentage. I'm going with those odds. I'm happy with that.
Though, even Kane Corns writes back to comments, mate. He'll get into people. I reckon you should start backing yourself, because I've read a few of those comments and I thought, yeah, this bloke's smacked up Croaks here. He's making way more sense than Croaks in this comment.
Not really. I've read through them. I'm like, I could easily one
you
of them.
You don't want to get in a back and forth though, do you? That's the thing. It's just like you don't know these people. You're like, yes, you appreciate they listen to the podcast, but you don't have 20 minutes to go, okay, I'm entering a debate.
Like one of them there was about me, just because I can't comprehend somebody running that fast, like an average soccer player trying to comprehend what Cristiano Ronaldo can do. But it's like, the way I look at it is, I don't know many people at the top end of, even like sub-elite people, that can run their 10K PB en route to a half marathon PB when their 10K PB was set less than a year ago at Valencia. That's the stuff for me that just doesn't add up. It's like, I can comprehend people running that fast, but the results don't add up in terms of, you're basically running faster than anyone's running over 10K at the moment and doing it again.
There was one as well about, you never said anything about when Andy Buchanan broke the record or when Cam Myers breaks records.
Yeah.
You got to rebut to that one?
No, there's nothing about Cam breaking records.
There was something about Cam.
There was something about Andy. There was something about Andy taking 2 minutes off. But I look at Andy, like Hamburg and Valencia, two different courses. Like, I don't think Andy had been in the position to actually get the most out of his marathon, whereas Kiplimo has been running the fastest half marathons around the world for a lot of years now. So there's more factors that contribute to Andy being able to improve than what should contribute to Kip Limo, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I did hear as well, Ross Tucker, he did an episode on it, and they were talking about how it's the biggest outlier. I think I heard it from him, like a world record. The difference between Kip Limo's time and now the second fastest time is the biggest gap. Maybe Usain Bolt. Maybe that was like comparable as well.
Anyway, I didn't expect to get into this tonight. I thought we're done and dusted with this chat.
That was just my intro to you, Croaks, but I'm glad you're here. And hashtag I stand with Croaks, to be honest. I was going to put my Payson bib on and go for a jog on Sunday and just to show a bit of solidarity with you, Croaks, but didn't quite get that far.
I know the listeners can't see this, but what about Moose's getup?
Yeah.
It's like wearing this collared shirt that looks like a collared jacket that's actually unbuttoned.
He's got
Lululemon, mate.
Oh, you're good. He went me a couple of weeks ago when I had no shirt on at all, and now he's pulling this.
I've got a shirt on.
Yeah, but not very well.
Zach, get a photo of this. Put it on the promo.
Looking close, this is actually what I wore to the live show on the Gold Coast a couple of years ago.
Good work hanging on to that. Let's talk some running, boys. Croaks, you're back. Our boy is back, Moose. He's stringing some big weeks together now, getting workouts, double runs, long runs, back at his normal pace.
He's got a big Valencia to build for here.
I'm on the very long, slow build. Things are definitely improving. Like even to the point that I'm weaning myself off the anti-inflam. So I pretty much did like a double run on Friday. Didn't take anti-inflams then until Sunday, just as it was just a little bit niggly after the long run, and then haven't had any today. So I'm getting through a lot more running without having to rely on anti-inflams. So that's positive. I better bring up my week. But yeah, I cracked 100K for the first time in, I guess, since before Christmas or around Christmas. Let me find it.
Do you book flights and stuff for Valencia yet? Are you that organised?
No, not that organised because I'm only going if I'm fit.
You're still 4 injuries away from getting over there.
Yeah. So, so Monday got out after work. Had Lily on the bike. So we did 45 minutes, 4:21s, and then Tuesday morning.
That's moving for a kid on the bike.
Oh, she left me for dead. Like she was going ahead and waiting for me. Yeah, she would do this 5 minutes faster on her own. She's waiting for me.
What sort of bike she rolling?
I don't know, just like the little mountain bike thing. It's got six gears.
Oh right, she's on the gears.
Yeah, she's got 6. But she's almost getting a bit too big for it actually. So anyway, that was Monday. Tuesday morning, another treadmill session. So the week before I did 6 3-minute reps on the Tuesday, 1 minute rest. This time around I did 8 by K, 1 minute rest, all on 17K an hour. Really enjoyed this. I'm actually enjoying these type of sessions, and I'm going to be doing a heap more of these over the next few months, where you can get through a lot of work, but never feel like you're redlining it. So I finished this session, and I could have done probably another 3 reps, 4 reps if I wanted to. Heart rate was in that sort of low to mid 160s. And then just 4K, or basically 20 minutes warm up, 20-minute cool down. So was that 16K? And then Wednesday afternoon got out for just over 15K, 425s. And I have been finding that when I do a session on the Tuesday, the Wednesday is a little bit niggly. But what's frustrating is that after I do the session on Tuesday morning, my heel and Achilles feels absolutely fine for the rest of the day. Like that afternoon, it's like, I'm in the clear here. It's all good. So it was a little bit just frustrating that, because I do want to obviously run like longish on a Wednesday. So then Thursday I had off, and then Friday I sort of did a little bit of an experiment. So I did 6 by 6 minutes on the treadmill in the morning. So I did those at 16.5K an hour. Similar heart rates to the Tuesday, but obviously just going a little bit slower, but a little bit longer. So that ended up being just under 10K worth of work, 4K warm-up, 4K cool-down. And then I went out that afternoon because I thought, because once again, like Achilles and everything was feeling fine. So I'm like, well, if I get a little bit more on the day where everything feels good, then maybe I'll only run 45 minutes or 30 minutes on the Saturday and I won't feel my Achilles at all. So did 8K in the afternoon, 422s. Went out after Lily's Little Athletics on Saturday morning, 47 minutes at 425s. I think it felt fairly good. And then Sunday, Sundays for me at the moment have just been like going out with, the hope of getting through somewhere between 90 minutes and an hour 45. But obviously I don't want to be running through any sort of, or anything more than probably a 2 or a 3 out of 10 pain. And this was good. Like I got through an hour 45, 417s. I'm not doing many hills at all. Like, I don't know if you open it up. So it's 417s for hour 45. It's like 163 meters of elevation over 24K. So it's not a lot. And hopefully I can start.
Triple what Brady gets.
Excuse me, 500 for me this week. I'm going to recap.
Yeah.
Okay.
But compared to normal,
Wait till I get to mine, Julian.
This is not a lot of elevation. So that's one thing I do want to start to try and progress. And I reckon I didn't have much pain at all doing this, maybe a 1 or a 2, and it didn't, it was maybe sort of 70 minutes in. I noticed it for a short period of time. So that was the week, 103K, I think. So with 1 day off and 1 double run.
Solo for Sunday?
Yeah, and less anti-inflams. So things are trending in the right direction. I'm going to do another week of treadmill sessions this week, and then next week I might go outside for a session. And I'm just going to try and just slowly build up the volume, hopefully add another 5 to 10K this week. But yeah, like heels definitely improved a lot.
Can you run in different shoes yet, or you still got to stick to the Mizuno soft backs?
Yeah, so I've still been doing all my easy runs in the Neo Vista, and I've been doing the treadmill sessions in the Wave Rebellion Pro 2. That's another thing I do want to get out of the Neo Vista a little bit. Like I like the shoe, but it's just still a bit unstable, and I just want to run in something different. But I prefer to be running in a shoe. I prefer to run in the Neo Vista than put something else on and have my heel flare up and not be able to run at all.
A good test, though, for how the heel's going is when you can transition to different shoes, I feel.
Yeah, well, there's a few things that we're going to test the heel, like obviously doing sessions outside, adding a few more heels to my runs. But it's all trending in the right direction. Like I've sort of gone from 50K, 70K, 80K, 100K, and the heel has not got any worse. If anything, it's got better every week. So that's promising.
How many anti-inflams you popping a day?
Well, it says I have like basically one in the morning, 1 at night. But I've had, I think, two tablets since Thursday night, and it's now Monday night. Yeah,
just two.
Just 2. Yeah, because I basically trained all Friday without anti-inflams, and then I had one on Sunday. Yeah, so maybe.
What are you taking?
Like Cerebex, is it? I don't know. It's one that you need for, like, you get a script.
Oh, big boy one.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Strong one.
So it's like, could be it's a slow release one?
Hang on, I'll get it here.
It's not that important, but anyway, feel free to.
Yeah.
He's got it on standby.
Celebrex.
Celebrex, is that what it is?
Crazy how quick you knew what that was, Moose, just by seeing the box.
Oh, no, that wasn't it. That's different.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah, anyway, I'm allowed to have take 1 capsule twice a day when required. So I've definitely been taking less of them in the last week than I was the week before, and I'm running more kilometres.
They help?
Yeah, I think so. And the one thing I'm finding with the heel is even if it's a bit niggly at the end of the day, the next day it settles down fairly quickly.
Good, Croaks. What have you been doing, Moose?
I started running again, actually.
Good work.
I exercised a fair bit this week. I've been running a bit and I've been riding. So the running started back on Monday last week during before we recorded. I think I ran, well, I'll pull it up actually because there's not too much to go through. But I've also been riding the bike. So Toby helped get my bike back up to scratch. I dropped it to him and he what did he do? He had to put new tyres on, new tubes, He got back going anyway. And so I've been riding a bit and it's been getting me a bit fitter. It's hard work still, but I still it's nice to feel your heart rate high, to breathe heavy, to have sore lactic legs. It's just a nice feeling. Don't get it too often. So my first run, where is this thing? So I went 4 by 5 minutes jog, 1 minute rest. That was on the treadie. Then I went to 3 by 8 minutes. And this was also on the treadie. So the idea is that I stay flat, try to look after the back a little more. Ran in the Nike Pegasus Premium. And I wore it for work the day before. And I hated every second of it. Thought it was terrible, fit, it hurt my foot, felt super unstable. And I thought, oh no, this is a bit of a flop here. And then I got on the treadie and ran in it, and I thought, hold up, this is a totally different feeling to what it was like, when I walked in it and worked in it. And so I was really happy with it. And so I think it's going to form part of my rotation going forward. The only trouble is it looks so cool, but it makes me want to just keep them clean and wear them and look cool. But as you saw before, I look cool no matter what shoes I'm wearing.
And just to clarify, because there was some talk that you'd been cut from the Nike seating list. Tommy and Nitter brought that up on Shoe Geeks, but these were just at the post office. You're still there?
Yeah, apparently. We don't get slips down here by the sounds of it, because someone may have listened to the podcast and said, hey, check the post office, followed up the tracking, and it says they're waiting at a post office, and they were going back in 2 days. They send them back.
Just got them in time.
Got them in time, yeah. So I might go check for these because the new Vomero comes out this Thursday, the Vomero 18, and it's a delight of a shoe. Vomero's always been, ever since Vomero, I'm going to say it was Vomero 10, the Vomero has been outside the Vomero 14, we're now up to the Vomero 18's about to release. I didn't really like the 15 or the 16 too much, actually. To be honest, the Vomero's had its up and downs. There's been some that I hated, and there's been some that I absolutely adored. And the Vomero 13 was a shoe that I adored. And this Vomero 18, I put this on today. It came in the store, it's not released yet. And I thought, we're back in the game here with Nike training shoes. Like I could have an Alpha or a Peg Premium and a Vomero 18 rolling, and I could forget about my Super Blast almost. That's the sort of.
That's a big call.
That's the sort. I wouldn't forget about it. I just need a reminder from the Super Blast that it's the king for a reason. But it's nice to have options these days. Anyway, ran 2 by 12 a couple of days later. Geez, 12 minutes can feel like a real long time when you're not used to running. I was getting to the end of this second 12 thinking, geez, I'm glad when this is finished. Then I went out for a longer mountain bike. Oh, no, I didn't. It wasn't a mountain bike. I woke up on Sunday real early, we were talking at 5 a.m. or something, I reckon. And I decided to go join the group for a Sunday long exercise. So they all ran. I was on the bike. The group was back in force. Had probably, 8 of us, maybe more, beat in Torquay. A few blokes doing workouts, just starting to put the workouts, the specific stuff down on paper for Ballarat. A lot of Ballarat runners in the group. And there was a couple that were just out for their Sunday long run. And everyone linked up together got a warm up in for those workout guys, and then I went with the pack, kind of out on the bike around Torquay, went through Janjuk, and then round the back of Torquay, back to the workout spot, and I rode, caught up to the workout, and it was Toby and Kieran were doing their workout. Kramers was out there, a couple of others, newbies to the group, which was good to see out there, and just hang out with Toby. He ran like 30-ish K, and then he did 10K. He did 10K on top of that. So I think he did 42K or something for the day. 10K tempo. So he ran the last bit kind of hard. It started to get warm too. So just hung around with him on the bike. Didn't offer him too much. Couldn't drink anything. His stomach was fucked. Took 180 grams of carbohydrate before that, even in the first 30K.
Okay.
Serious amount of carbohydrate.
Would you say 180 and 30K?
Well,
Yeah, but he was going quick. He's running 3:45s.
Yeah, so about an hour 40-ish.
Yeah.
Got about 100 grams an hour, I think.
Yeah, he's pushing it, isn't he? Are you writing his program, or are you just bouncing ideas off each other? Or are you just keeping him company on the bike?
No, I'm just observing him. He's got
Toby's,
his own...
Toby's just his bike mechanic. That's all.
Yeah, he needs a new tyre.
Hey, I went out and rode with him for 10K, and I'm not his coach, so I wasn't giving him advice on the run. I didn't know really what he wanted from it. So I'm just there riding next to him thinking, I wish I was running right now. It'd be nice to touch him up. But he's going pretty well. He's got his own ideas on this bike and run kind of alternation plan he's got going.
Yeah, he puts the stuff in the monthly group chat about what workout should he do. And I'm like, mate, between Chriso and I, not the guys to be asking. I'm like, us three putting our minds together for a marathon program for Toby. He's doing like half his
inspiration from
half his
Morgan
Ks. Oh yeah, half his Ks for the week are in his Sunday. He did like 90K and 42 of them were in Sunday.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's how you do it.
Morgan Pearson doesn't run marathons though.
That's true.
Keep updated with the bad boy though on the monthly. He's been in good form there. Anything else to say, Moose, before I whip through this week?
I ran that afternoon. 2 by 15.
2 by 15. You got another shoe you want to promo here?
No.
Croaks has got the old hashtag ad in the comments here and got 55
I don't know about
likes.
that. You have a read of that, Brady. Does that read like an ad to you?
It's a bit mysterious, isn't it?
Well, it's like
read like an ad to me.
Shouldn't be in this shoe. I'm not really doing workouts, but it's burning a hole and need to put it on. By the way, you can buy it at my shop.
Yeah, I stock it. I'm not running much at the moment, but I still need to get it out there somewhere. I need to have my influence over how many followers you got on Strava?
Hashtag ad.
6,279.
I don't feel like this was me just wondering about this shoe. That's not trying to sell it. I reckon most people read this and get turned off it.
Why do you need to put it on social media if you're just wondering about it? Just keep it to yourself.
Because like Brady said in the intro,
table too.
Mate, I'm the fucking number one shoe influencer in the country. If I don't do this, then who will? Some plant from a brand, you reckon?
Nidda and Tommy?
Nidda, mate, he's got 120 followers. He runs pro races. You see him up on the podium.
He's going all right, isn't he? He's been on the podium a lot lately, Nidda. I love that.
Yeah, well, it's a cycle, right? Once every 6 years, your handicap catches up.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Good
What did I run for the week? Can you just tell me?
It says 83.1, but that includes your bike riding.
Oh, yeah, that's not it.
Not sure how you separate it like that. How do you run?
Training calendar.
It says your average distance for the week 6.7 Ks.
That's not it. How do you do it? Training log?
I don't know. How do you split it?
Or training log? Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to continue my rant on Strava here from last week because I spoke about the algorithm no good. The weather on Strava also no good. It rips you off like 3 to 5 degrees all the time. And then now I'm hearing there's a conspiracy out there that if you don't pay for Strava, so Croaks doesn't pay for Strava, so if I haven't favorited him, it leaves it like doesn't give him much attention in my algorithm. So then you get less kudos. So then you start thinking, hey, maybe I should be paying.
I get that.
Yeah.
Seriously though, people would pay just to have somebody click their kudos?
Maybe not. Maybe I've gone a step too far there. People want to get noticed in life, Croaks.
The amount of kudos that I get for a run is not going to influence my decision to pay for Strava.
Yeah, but you're a hard ass. You said your time's way too valuable to reply to people on social media this week. There's no way you want kudos. Listen to this week, fellas. Had a big one. Got some stories about Sunday as well. Got down to the old land of the king. Anyway, Monday, 16K, 436s. 8K in the Arvo, 447s. Tuesday, did like a bigger threshold workout. So I did 10 by 5 minutes off 1 minute. I think I was maybe walking for 30 seconds and just jogging around for 30 seconds. Sitting around like 3:17 pace, which felt comfortable. You're just out there for a while on that one, which I quite enjoy, the longer kind of like threshold sessions. In the Arvo, I watched the Breaking 2 documentary on Disney+. Go back and watch it, boys. It's great. Kipchoge, Lasisa, and who was the other guy in there?
Tadesse,
yeah, from Eritrea. I forgot it was the first time they'd won a medal at the Olympics. He was like a hero when he went back home. So,
and what were they running? Remember, they did a half marathon in the lead up to this thing, did they? And what did they run?
I reckon Lasisa, I reckon he ran like 63 or something. Kipchoge was maybe 59 low. I reckon like 59.15, and they reckon he was kind of flexing at the end there. And Tadesse was like 59.45 or something high. And I said this on the monthly, like they were all cooked. Like and it showed old footage of like, Kometo when he broke the world record going under the Brandenburg Gate there, like just this grimace on his face, and they were just showing like old footage of like them all racing, and it's just the opposite of what we were talking about last week. When people make it look effortless, these guys are like grimacing, and it looks so hard.
And they were in super shoes back then. This was the 4%.
This was the first 4%, yeah. Which I'm surprised the documentary didn't say a lot about. Like it definitely wasn't an ad for the super shoes. I had to be like pausing it and zooming in. Like Collis is in there, Moose. He's one of the paces. I think you've got his shoes in the shop, don't you? From there?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, that's insane. And shit, they're lucky that Kipchoge like had a good one on the day. So Kipchoge ran 2 hours 25 seconds. Tadesse ran 2:6:51. And DeCisa ran 2:14. Like, imagine if Kipchoge had a shit one as well. It would have been the worst, like, advertisement. Because they're like, we know how to fix all their problems. They're not fueling properly. We've got this special tape on them. We've got these new shoes. And they've come out and ran 2:14 and 2:06.
Do you remember?
It would have been a PR nightmare.
Do you remember watching it on the day? It was streamed live.
It was.
So you couldn't just...
All quiet.
Kevin
Hart was there.
Yeah, there's a few funny things about it. It was the day of Lap of the Lake in Ballarat, and everyone. I remember watching it with Mona. Actually, that was it. Like we had on our phone.
Yeah.
And just go and you just having Mona there, considering breaking 2 hours, it was like such a crazy concept, even in his own head.
Yeah.
And a guy like that watching a video of it happening, and I think everyone was pretty happy it didn't happen, to be honest. Like it left it out there.
Yeah, I wish they kind of went back and did it the same way for when he actually did do it. I felt like the second time around it was way more like gimmicky, and like the shoes looked like even bigger. Does anyone even know what those shoes were in the end?
Well, they're a version of the Alpha Fly.
Yeah, but it's like you'll never know how many. I don't know. You know what I mean? It was just a bit. Anyway, this one felt a lot rawer, and it's some great footage, and I encourage people to go watch it. That was great treadmill viewing for me. Wednesday did 88 minutes, 426s. Thursday did 60 minutes, 444s, and then 35 minutes on the treadmill after that. Friday did a mono fartlek, hit 6.3k, which was about like 310k pace average. I did about, I think, 6 or 7 weeks ago, and I hit 6.2k, so a little step further. But I know when I'm really going, I can kind of hit 6.5k. So a little bit of progress. Maybe still got a while to go. 35 minutes on the treadmill Friday night after school. Saturday, 70 minutes, 441. Real hot and just windy. Just terrible running conditions, but got it done. Then I went to Bendigo Saturday Arvo, took Hudson down there, stayed at my parents' place, and jumped in with the boys down there. Probably 30 people there. Like Bendigo running culture's gone through the roof. Me and Andy and Nath started at 6:20. First time I've seen Andy actually since the Australian record went down. So I was expecting him to rock up in like a brand new car, just flashing some cash around and stuff. But he's still got this beat up old Commodore, boys. I think 2004 Commodore he drives around in, which I kind of love. I have questioned if he'll still be that like boy next door kind of vibes, and he definitely is. Definitely still is in person. Looks a bit clean.
Who's paying him all this money for coming whatever plate? What did he come? 9th or something?
9th. He broke the Australian record, mate.
No, what did he come at Valencia?
206.22 or something, wasn't it? Nah, he would have been
11th.
Would have been further up than 9th, wouldn't he? He would have come about 38th at Valencia.
Brady, you've been involved in this sport for a long time, and you host a running podcast. Just because you break an Australian record, you should know that the sport does not demand a lot of money. Like, you don't start making even money just because of that.
Nah, but he should. I reckon. There's got to be some brands out there who got links with car companies. Someone get him a new car, please.
Maybe Bendigo, mate. Bendigo Athletics get behind him. Chip in a few.
You should give him your sponsorship.
Yeah, there's no way I should be driving around a car and Andy Buchanan's not. Which I did have a laugh at one stage. I'm like, me and Nath were trying to we did like an hour 50 over the hills and then got on the flat because he wanted to do 40 minutes steady around 3:40 pace. So I actually had some old Alpha Flyers in my car, so I'm like, hang on, I'm going to put these on to try to keep up with you. And then I got about 25 minutes in and just, it was kind of a weird pace. Like, I was working pretty hard to stay with him on like the trails and stuff, and he was getting me worked up on a topic, and I was like talking heaps. So he's like, stop talking and just concentrate on this pace. And I'm like, nah, boys, I'm cooked. Gonna have to stop here 25 minutes into it. So then I just jogged the last like 15 minutes to get it to 2 hours, 30 minutes, which was, how many Ks was it? 36.2k at 4:10 pace, 500 metres of climbing moose. Big group down there.
That's gonna hit you for sure.
Oh well, that's what I said. He's like, he's like, focus. You'll be able to get the whole 40 minutes done. And I'm like, it's 28 degrees. I haven't run over any hills for like 6 months. I'm running with a 206 guy, and it's my longest run I've done in like, I don't know, probably since August. So I'm just like, this is stupid combining all these things. I've got to pull out here.
The hills take some getting used to. That is for sure.
They're messy hills in Bendigo too. Like, it's not, all right, here's a 2k nice gradual hill. It's just like you're up, down. Like, it's always just rolling in Bendigo. So that was good though. But you got the state champ, Matt Buckle, in the same group, 5k champ. Georgia Hansen was there. Not sure what Georgia Hansen was doing there, but she was there. So it was pretty like loaded pack of people. So it was good to get down there. And I'm just like, I said it last week, I've got to, like, they were getting grim, my long runs, whereas this was fun, talking shit with people, hanging on to the Australian record holder for a bit.
Fun until you cooked yourself.
I wasn't cooked.
It wasn't so much fun.
My heart rate average was 144, which wasn't too bad. Gap pace 403. So like when you got, I've got to pull my finger out, when you got that happening an hour down the highway, you shouldn't be doing your own thing up here.
That's good for you. That kind of running's good.
I know.
Like, I like that. I like that Sunday run.
Yeah. And they've
over
all
the
got
hills for us. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you get peeling.
Moose is on the hard long run this month. Everyone, you can go and do hard long runs.
I rocked up to Sunday, this group of guys there, and they're like, oh, let's go do this little loop around the flattest block in the world on concrete, and then we'll go and do a little loop around this flat block. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? This is Sunday. Get in the bush. Go run some hills. I've been gone for a month, and this is what happens to the group. You all turn into pussies. This is good stuff. This Bendigo, like, steady running, drop a few blokes, dump some guys.
See, he doesn't do that. I've told you that in the past. And he doesn't, so he must be doing it so easy. He doesn't dump anyone up the hills. He just runs as fast as the next person's running.
Yeah, like, but there'll be people in the group getting dumped.
Yeah, still a few people at the back. But, like, I'm not that great on hills. I haven't ran them for a while, but I wasn't getting dumped. He must be in cruise control. He's a 206 guy. And he's like, it's interesting to observe him now. Now he's the fastest ever. First time I've ever seen him pick up drink bottles. He must have hidden them out there that morning. I haven't ran with him for a while, but he never used to pick up drink bottles on his long run. So fueling's obviously become a bit of a thing for him.
Yeah. I'm just looking. What, he hid drink bottles out
in the bush,
in the middle of nowhere out there.
Yeah. Well, not in the middle of nowhere, like easy kind of car access for some of them. But yeah, he would have picked up a few. So anyway, you read what book? Scott Fable's book, Moose? Inside a Marathon.
Yeah, I've read that.
I picked it up this week and I've just been reading it, and I loved his document. Like, so for people listening, him and his coach write a book about his build up to New York Marathon, and every chapter he goes through his training, and then they document like the coach and the athlete's kind of notes. But then he had his like themes for each week, and one of them said, this is the chapter I read last night, I tiptoed forward a little bit, which I loved. That was just like, you're just moving your fitness like a tiny bit in the right direction. You don't want to be looking for these massive gains, massive page turners. Like, just do little tiptoes in the right direction with your fitness. If you're, 8-9 weeks out from a marathon, I think it's a smart little way to think about it. So I recommend that book to people, even though I've only read about 30 pages. Thanks to patrons, Croaks. Who you got?
Let's do it. I have Chad Augustine. So I think Chad's an Aussie living in Oslo, Norway. Has run 33.24 at the 2022 Hydroplane Miller 10K, 73.24 from the 2023 Florence half, and 2:38 at last year's Frankfurt Marathon. Based on Strava, it looks like he's been having some trouble with his hammy recently, and I think he might be a sales manager for Bacardi.
Bacardi?
So, yeah, not a bad job.
So you would have loved smashing a couple of Bacardis back in the day, wouldn't you? What were they called, the premix ones? Do they have a special name?
Breezer.
Oh, yeah. No hesitation from you there.
Breezers were big. Breezers were like, what was the other one? UDLs and Cruisers.
Oh, yeah, Red Bears. Have a couple of Red Bears.
Oh, yeah, Red Bears, geez. That was some 440ml cans.
Woodstocks, same can size.
Crack a big Woody.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks, Chad, for your support. Moose, who you got?
I had a bit of a crack at this before in my head. You're going to have to help me because there's a letter in this name that is both an A and an E joined together. Now, what the fuck is that?
I reckon Christian. Yeah, I do.
It's Kajal Arn and then Trenis. That's pretty good for me.
That's not an A and an E. That's one symbol. Why are you pronouncing it like it's an A and an E?
That's just what I went with.
Yeah, anyway, it's Kajal Arne. I'll go with you and say trainers from Nordland, Somna, Norway. I'm guessing that's a male, but it could be a female. Down further it says his primary contact. So he's run 15.25 for 5K on the track, 31.26 for 10, 69.29 at the 2019 Berlin half, 2:39 at the 2018 Amsterdam Marathon. Primary club is Somna IL. Well, I don't know what IL is. But this is probably one of the most Norwegian bios we've ever had. Croaks, you've done well here.
Well, I haven't done well. Kajel's done well.
Thanks,
Kajal, yeah. Did you work out what that symbol is?
Oh no, I got Google search. I'm on some video now that how to pronounce it.
Yeah, that's not good radio. Just have a crack, Croaks.
That's how you pronounce it.
Tranez.
Trans. All right.
I'm going to thank Damien Huntingford. He is from the UK, and according to his Power of 10 profile, he's run 16:33 at the Pool Park Run, 34:59 at the 2022 Eastleigh 10K, 79.01 at the 2022 Surrey Half Marathon. So good year of PBs for him in 2022, and 2:47 at 2021 at Dorney Lake Marathon. So 3 internationals this week, fellas. Damien, Kajal, Chad. Thank you for your support. Chad may be Australian, but 3 people based overseas. So we love that you guys support the show over in different countries there. And if you like what we do on the Inside Running Podcast, you can do the same at patreon.com/Inside Running Podcast. A couple of different levels, depending on how you want to support us. And the top one has bonus content. Boys from the monthly fight up last week, fellas. A few controversial issues there. Croaks is grinning at me. I hope he enjoyed it. Chriso was in good form. Toby was in good form. We answered something like 34 listener questions. From everything from do you have sex before your races to what's that drug called, Croaks?
What did Toby answer for that one?
Yeah, Chris.
What did Toby answer?
You got to listen to it because Chris was pretty good. To like, should you use weight loss drugs? To what are your thoughts on Australian records? Picking teams. We were a bit off the rails, which it's always fun with those two boys.
They both agreed with me with Kip Limo.
Yeah. Well, Chriso was there, wasn't he? So plenty of content over there. A bit more coming this week. You two boys are giving me some audio. What else we got there? Oh, we got the UK boys that teed up this week. And Paddy Stowe's just raced at Osaka, so I reckon those boys won't be far away as well. Race results, fellas, for running news. These race results are powered by Axel Coffee, because every great run starts with a great coffee. I'm going to take us first to Boston. This was Saturday morning, our time. The Terrier Classic Croaks. Is that the name?
Yeah, I think so.
We had two Aussies in action there. There was a 5K on, so 200-metre track. This is the real fast one, isn't it?
It is Boston University.
BU, yeah. They always seem to run fast at this one. So Cole Hocker got the win, the Olympic gold medal, so 1,500 in 12:57.8. His trainer partner Cooper Teare was second in 12:57.9. Really good race. Then Jack Rayner third, 12:59.43, which is a national record. And I'm going to say only the third person to break 13 minutes, Croaks. Mottram and Stewie, the other two.
Yep.
What's his Australian record? 12:54? 55?
55, maybe?
55.
Stewie's gone 56, 57. So Jack's really there, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think Stewie's gone pretty close to that record.
Yeah.
I think it was 56, maybe.
Within a second, yeah.
Yeah. So Jack running 12:59 is a huge run. So we'll get to that in a second, because Jude Thomas was also there, the prince that was promised, and he has arrived. He was 9th in 13:09. So a huge PB for Jude as well. And just massive results. I know we kind of had our concerns maybe that Jack wasn't taking his London Marathon prep seriously by going over to do these indoor races. But he can kind of kiss the London Marathon idea away now, can't he? Like he could be there at the Bell in a 5K championship race. And are we thinking about Jack now just go back to be a track guy?
Well, I don't normally talk much about the track stuff, but I don't think he can be there at the Bell. 12:59 is very different from what some of these guys are running. If they want to make it, they can make it a 12:40 race. That's how
many people can make it 12:40 in the world?
Well,
Grant Fisher went 12:44 last week. Jack's only 15 seconds behind him.
12:40.
He's a medalist, Moose.
You're talking a lot like some guy. Yeah, Grant Fisher did, but there's only a few people that are actually running in that indoor season. Like, how many of the top African 5K guys are running on the track indoors right now?
Yeah, not many. Chriso's got a theory on this that they all go to the roads to make money now. They don't care about the track.
Yeah, well, the track, definitely not the indoor track.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, we're seeing a smaller pool of fish over there in these indoor races compared with what we see in the outdoor season and the diamond leagues, that kind of thing. So, is he going to be there at the Bell in an Olympic 5K final or a World Champs final? I don't think he will be. But
the flip side, where's he going to be if he does the Olympic marathon?
Yeah,
Jack could be a 5K finalist, and I think that's huge, being a finalist. I don't think he's running top 15 in the Olympic final for the marathon or the Olympic marathon.
Think about how the 5K heats go. Do they go out super fast, and are they this type of race that is gun to the tape, hard and fast and paced? Or do they go out slow and it's the fast dudes come home?
Yeah, so it's the 1,500-metre runners running the 5K that get through to the final.
True.
Yeah, and if they want to make it fast there, then they can. But they got to get to the final. So that's not to say you can't go to the World Champs and run in the heats and still be an absolute champion. Like, that's we shouldn't be having.
We should note that this is a qualifier now for Jack too, for the World Champs. He knocked over the 13:01 qualifier.
Yeah, and so he could go and run on the track at the World Champs, and that's awesome. I wouldn't think that his chances there are higher than they would be in the marathon. Although some of these World Champs marathons, you get this super hot days and you get a hilly course and all of a sudden things can happen. So it's almost as if those championship marathon races, it's like there's more, you have more of a puncher's chance out there than you do on the track. You never really see that on the track where someone comes from nowhere. There's always, like, they're always been roughing up the diamond leagues at some point throughout the year. They don't come from the clouds. Whereas maybe sometimes in the marathon you'll see that.
Croaks, anything to add?
I think, you got to remember at the end of the day, Jack's a professional athlete. So there'd be stuff in his contract where, potentially he's got to look at where he can make the most money. And so if there's some clauses in his contract saying you break 2:10 for the marathon and you get this bonus, then it's a no-brainer going and doing London because that's his job. And I don't think it matters whether he runs track or marathon. Like, at the end of the day, like, it's unlikely that Jack is going to be on the podium at a world championship in either. So he may as well try and make as much money from the sport as he can.
Yeah, okay.
And I also, though, how is Jack not the biggest, he's the most unpredictable runner on the start line that you've ever seen?
Oh, yeah. There's some stuff that we said on the monthly that hasn't aged real well. Like, Croaks retired him a couple of weeks ago on this show too, didn't he?
I don't know because he didn't race.
Jack.
No, he hadn't
retired
raced.
A few other people.
I actually stood up for him a bit last week, saying the reason why he was doing the track stuff, the 3K was a rust buster to try and get to qualify for the 5K, to knock that out of the way before the marathon, because it's going to be very hard for him to be in top track shape after the marathon. It's going to take him time. So that's what I said last week.
Yeah.
So he's done that. But the question now is it worth him doing London, or now that he's got the qualifier, does he go all in on the track season and try and maximise his performance at Worlds?
Worlds aren't till September, are they? So he could come home, do a 8-week marathon block, 1 week taper, do London, go run a big PB. Like, even if he runs 2.7, or not even if, but he could run 2.7, 2.8.
But then there's the injury risk, I suppose. Is it worth now cramming for a marathon with his history and then getting a niggle in the lead up to London and that derailing his whole season?
Because he got so unlucky last year where he broke the Australian record for 10K but didn't qualify. Like, I think him making the team would be important to him.
He's done that a few times, Jack. Like, he's been in really good shape at the start, like, in the first part of the year. Like, as you said, ran that 10K last year. But then, by the time middle of the Diamond League season's rolled around, he's either injured or not running great. So I think they need to sit down and try and work out, okay, how do we best maximise this season?
Yeah, what are the priorities? Yeah, it's going to be an interesting track going forward. Jude was good too, fellas. Did you see some footage of him, though? Like, him absolutely going to the well, and he crossed the finish line, and it was like hands up here and then pretty much just laid on his back on the track. It's like, you love to see that. So did the other two.
Yeah, whereas so many of the athletes that win these races now, it just cross the line. It's like, well, I could do another 5 laps at that.
He was flying too, wasn't he? And that Nike kit looks good. He's got the best swagger in Australian distance running, like hooking quick 200s around that indoor track. Jude was good. What did we say last week, Moose? 13:10 was the line for Jude. Goes out and runs 13:09. Usually we don't take slab bets from the audience, and I saw that an Instagram message did come in from someone saying, I'll take the bet, and I was like, oh, who's this writing in? This is usually between us 3 co-hosts. Don't try getting on the joke. But it was the young King Croaks, your man Cam Myers, who said he'll take under. Moose went over. Moose owes him a slab of kombucha.
Yeah,
Moose,
I do. He got
you should
lucky,
know.
lucky.
He's on a golden streak, Cam. He doesn't lose.
He got lucky.
I know.
1 second.
He got kissed on the ass right there. That was, Jude Thomas, though, 13:09. We're in some rare air there. Like, you say he was the prince that was promised. Well, maybe he's starting to come through and show people that he is the person that we thought he was, like the runner that we all claimed he could be.
He rallied well, Moose, because I was looking at the live splits come through, and I reckon his last 2 or 3 laps, there was a few like 32 points in there for the 200s, which is, slower than 240 kilometre pace or 13:20 5K pace, and he must have just found a little bit in that last lap, I reckon, because it was what 13:09.3 or something, and the bet was under or over 3:10 or 13:10.
It's right on it.
Stewie was down the race as well, but he was a DNS, so hopefully everything's all good there. Yearning to get off the roads and onto the trails? Wondering what the fuss is all about out there in the bush? Find your epic and run with nature at the 2025 Buffalo Stampede Festival by Single Track Events. Held in Bright in Victoria's High Country on March 28 to 30th, the Stampede offers challenging trail runs with serious elevation from 10k to 100k. Sign up using the promo code INSIDERUNNING10 for a 10% discount off a race entry and your chance to win one of 3 pairs of Asics shoes. Croaks takes to Sydney.
Yeah, so Albie Thomas Mile was on Thursday night, and I watched the last hour or so because they had a men's and women's 800 plus the mile. So in the women's mile, Claudia Hollingsworth got the win in 4:36. Maudie Skyring second, 4:37.46, and Jaylah Hanckock-Cameron was third in 4:37.93. Both the men's and the women's races actually went out fairly slow. So these were Claudia's splits. It was like 75 seconds for the first 4, then 70, 66, 61. So it was just this real wind up. And so, but when you run 75 for the first lap, it's never going to be a super quick time. In the men's, this was really close. It was like less than 0.1 of or just over 0.1 of a second. Josh Phillips, 4:10.56. Max Shervington, who's from WA, I believe, 4:10.69. And Archie Ridgeway was third in 4:10.91. Sort of similar. They went 69, 64, 58, 56. So that, Australian Championships there. And then in the men's 800, Daniel Williams got the win. It was a bit like the Adelaide Track Classic. So Jai Perrott went past him with sort of 200 to go, maybe a bit before 200 to go. And then Daniel Williams went past him like Pete Bowl did to Daniel in Adelaide. So he ran 147.56. Jai Perrott second, 148.53. And then in the women's, Abby Caldwell, she got the win, 201.86, beating Tess Kersop Cole in 203.53.
Abby's on a winning streak, isn't she?
She is. So I think she's still hunting for the world indoor I don't know if she's got the world indoors standard.
You can get that outdoors. You
can get it outdoors, and I think qualification started in September last year. So I don't know whether she's run it fast 800. I might check that while we're recording.
Strange world, isn't it? Oh. Strange world. This indoor outdoor world where you can qualify for one championships out in another. Like they're kind of calling it a different sport, right? Like they have different championships,
but then different records.
Yeah, different records, but you can use outdoor races to qualify for it, and use indoor races to qualify for outdoor. Yeah, it's all a bit funny.
Yeah, because her so in 2024, she raced at the Olympics, which, 158.52, 4th of August, was obviously under the standard. But I'm pretty sure for World Indoors, it started like 1st of September or something. And then the only race she did after the Olympics was the Zatopek 3K, where she ran 8:51. And she hasn't run sub 2 yet this season.
I'm going to take you to Osaka. This was this morning. So it was a public holiday or something in Japan. So a Monday race, I reckon. Looked cold, Moose. I was glad I was sitting in Australia, not on the start line again. Looked like, they even had a meeting, didn't they, last night to decide if the race would go ahead due to forecast.
Really?
Yeah, I was on Japan Running News' Twitter. They'd make a call on it at maybe 7:30 p.m. last night to see if they'd cancel the race due to the predicted snow. I've seen a couple of Instagram videos and stuff, but other than that, I didn't see any snow falling, but it looked cold, like 2 degrees Pretty still though, and no rain maybe. I could be completely wrong. I've only seen the results. Tara Palm, she finished 6th though. She ran 2:34.15. And then we had some men in action as well. And I know there was more than this, but this is what we've got written here and people that the listeners may be familiar with. So Dave Ridley, he was the first Aussie in 2:18.39. Richie Egan, the new king of the Surf Coast Marathon and down there, Moose, 2:22.08. Paddy Stowe, our man from Road to Berlin a couple of years ago, 2:24. And Tom Middleton, who was on the road to Chicago with me last year, 2:28. I reckon a few of those boys would want to be going quicker than that. So probably just a reminder that the marathon's a tough event. And, smacks a couple of people now and then. Thoughts, boys?
It's the old... no, there's just way too much disrespect for the 220 barrier that sits out there. Like, you're the one who knows this all too well. 220 is not just something you go out as a formality for... it's not. It doesn't go 225, 219. That's just not how things work. I reckon we talk about this after every major marathon, about everyone trying to take pops at 220 and falling short. And it's a patient game, the old running world.
The old round number goal.
Can I just give a quick shout out to my boy Liam Ryan? He ran a 3.5 minute PB. Was it 2:35? Negative split, so good on him. Good.
I got one here as well. Noah Janoki. He's a 19-year-old boy from the sunny coast, and he ran 2:26.13 for his debut. Yeah, young to be running marathons in a 2:26er. That just come in as we're recording, boys. Seville Marathon. This had a bit of hype around it, Moose, because Solomon Barrega, the Olympic champ, was debuting in his new Chinese-sponsored kit.
Li Ning.
Hearing a bit about it. It's getting out there.
Well, we talked about it a bit on the pod. Nita had a couple of their shoes, the Shoe Geeks podcast, so he talked about it. They're obviously starting to look outside China at who to sponsor. I think they've always sort of looked outside. Like, Li Ning sponsored NBA basketball players for a while. I reckon they sponsored Dwayne Wade, maybe. I'm going to say he was a leading athlete. But
they sponsored Kyrie.
Li Ning?
He's got I'm going to look him up now.
What, after he left Nike, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't know. Anyway, it was Seville.
His Anta.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Spain is the place to run, though. This Seville and Valencia, Barcelona, plus all their halves, it just looks amazing there. We had Liam Bouden there. So Liam Bouden, he's Queenslander, coached by, I'm going to say, he's an MTC athlete.
Yeah, Collis
coaches Liam. So, yeah, pretty impressive run from him. I looked at his Strava splits this morning without really looking at his time, and sort of said it was a bit disappointed or whatever. I'm like, I'll go through and have a look and see where he blew up. But it's absolutely beautiful, the splits that he's run. And he must have just been slightly off each time, because it's one of the best looking marathons you'll see on Strava. He ran 2:10. What did he run? 2:10.28. So if you consider that's about half a second per kilometre off running 2:10.
Yeah, his note said fell shy of the goal but proud of the effort, which I think the goal would have been break 2:10.
Yeah, and if you consider that over the course of 42K, you've only gone half a second per kilometre slower average. Like, it creeps up those numbers in the marathon. Even if it's just slightly off half a second a kilometre, then you're 28 seconds off your goal pace. It's really it's a bit harsh like that. It sort of means that you've got to, like, when you look at your watch when you're pacing and say he's aiming to run 3:04 per K, and if you run a 3:05, it means at some point you've got to run a 3:03. That's it to get it back.
And that's if you're actually going off the K markers on course.
Yeah.
Like, if you run going off your Garmin, it could be 10 seconds of difference K, and then you're like, well, where'd this time come from?
Yeah. He's got a good progression going, though, with his marathon. Was it Gold Coast last year? Was his debut?
Yeah, went out crazy fast.
2:13 or something, and then 2:12 in Kobe in Japan, and then 2:10.
Just following the Tim Vincent. Him and Tim Vincent, he's just copying Timmy.
Yeah, they're good in Queensland, aren't they? There's something going on in the marathoning up there.
Good fellas too. Quiet, just low key. Well,
you don't like the attitude. You're that old school kind of
well-mannered
athletics fan.
No, they're just friendly people. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Not much arrogance about them. You know what I mean? They give you the shirt off their own back. Those boys.
Yeah, well, yeah.
He's a big fan of the Queensland Moose.
Yeah, you know, like heaps of Queensland brothers and sisters up there.
I reckon he's plotting a move up there.
Too hot for me. Humidity, couldn't do it.
You'd be a good Gold Coast.
Not good enough looking to live up there, Moose. I don't think.
Did you guys see any of this race?
Yeah, I watched a bit of it. Borrega went out really fast.
Well, yeah, there was a pack of them that went out fairly quick. And then I guess the pacemaker only lasted to not even 25K, I don't think. And at that point, Borrega then sort of went on his own. But the thing I loved about it was he actually looked human. Like he was struggling in the last 5K. I've actually got the splits here somewhere. I know Christo put a screenshot up of it, but he ran like 50. Oh, here we go. So it was like 14:18, 14:25, 14:34, 15:13, 14:37, 14:18, 14:36, 15:41 between 35 and 40K, and then 7:31 for the last 2.2K. And it's like this, this is what we didn't see the week before, was somebody actually starting to get tired. Admittedly, this is a marathon. That was a half, but we'll be interested to see whether, Kiplimo shows any signs of fatigue in London.
8 weeks away. You'll be hoping he does, Cokes?
Well,
you want to see a bit of fatigue, or does it help your case if he shows no fatigue and runs 1:59?
Well, I think he should. Well, on a debut, if he shows absolutely no fatigue and runs 1:59, 1:58 on debut, yeah,
probably helps your argument. We also had the Vic Champs. So Janie Mackerel, she won the 1500 there in 4:32, and Lucas Chiz. This guy knows how to win. He's only a junior, coached by Benny St. Lawrence, but every time you watch him, boys, tactically brilliant. Slow race with him winning in 3:59.99. Got him and Clifford in a pretty good battle up the home straight there. In the 800 metres, Lucy Delbridge, she won in 2:09, and Hamish Donahue was the winner of the men's in 1:49.5. Pretty low key, the old Vic Champs this year. And I guess because the 5K happens on a separate night, and maybe obviously the 10K as well with Zatopek, it's just like a bit of a, 15-800. We've got all the stars going to the track classics.
Yeah, like they had Albie Thomas Mile on the Thursday. They've got the
Adelaide
Perth
the week
track.
Before, Perth's
yeah,
coming
and Perth
up.
this weekend. And so
big dogs are indoors.
State champs are pretty much dead these days.
Yeah, certainly
we
are.
said that last time. I reckon we said that last year too.
And the year before that.
Yeah. It needs to cut its own,
over 2 weekends too, I think, which isn't a great idea.
That's hard. That's hard. And you got a regional coming in over 2 weekends. So that's going to kill it because it's a big state. Having state championships with you got all these regional towns and cities that have to come into the city over 2 weekends. That's real going to hurt it.
I remember once when I was younger, I did the 1500 heats on the Saturday, made the final, just scraped in, drove back to Bendigo, and then back again the next day for the final. It was terrible. It was like 3 hours. I almost wished I didn't make the final because I'm like, I don't want to go. And I'd already I think I ran a PB in the heat, and I'm like, oh shit, I've made the final. This ain't good. Just got smoked in the final.
You're never going to do well on that.
Yeah, and I know it's going to be a slow sit and kick race for the final too, so you don't even have a chance to run a PB.
Well, back in the day, people used to actually do that. I remember New South Wales state champs, people like Jeremy Roth, because the heats used to be on say a Friday night, and then the final would be 3 p.m. Saturday afternoon. So it's their best chance to run fast was Friday night when there's no wind around. So they would actually set up a super quick heat and then not necessarily run the final. Basically just go out there to try and run a fast time, in the heat.
The only thing is you're taking up a spot if you don't rock up for the final.
Yeah, sometimes they replace them.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Yeah.
Those results brought to you by Axel Coffee. Morning runs just got better with Axel Coffee, our official caffeine partner. Get 20% off with IRP20 as the code. If you're after filter coffee, drink espresso, or just want a top quality instant coffee, check them out today. I don't have any whispers, boys. No talking points. Kind of.
What? You got no whispers after spending a long run with 30 people where the best whispers happen?
When I go on those long runs, if I don't tell the group, nothing will go on the podcast. They start telling me stories and say, yeah, this isn't for the podcast. So it's two. I'm there as Brady, just the guy from Echuca jumping in the long run, not Brady from Inside Running Podcast. So you got to respect the whispers you get. Otherwise, it'd be boring. If I start telling those whispers, they won't want me back there.
You haven't respected any whispers you've had. You just bang them out on this.
People like official whispers come into me and I bang them out on this. They come to Brady as the Inside Run podcast guy, not just like Brady, a training partner.
Yeah. Brady's happy to announce that Ed Goddard's gone to Saucony after he put up a social media post about it, going, hey, boys, here's a whisper.
Where are we at, though, with brands contacting me to get a whisper on the show?
What are you talking about?
What do you mean?
Like a brand saying, hey, Brady, we've got a whisper for you.
No, they're not.
I got one. And I was like, this is a bit sneaky. You guys aren't sponsoring the show and you want this to be on the whisper.
What brand?
I can't tell. I'm not going to go into details.
It start with?
It's been more than one brand wanted to mention.
Really?
Yeah. Tell you off air. Anyway, Moose on the Loose, what do you got?
Well, I don't have a moose on the loose, to be honest.
If I don't have... I'm trying to search our group chat because I said last week... Can you guys search it? Because mine just comes up as nothing. See my screen there? But if... Type in remind me, because I can remember having a moose on the loose last week, and I said, remind me of this last week for moose on the loose.
Remind me to bring this up.
Yeah, what was it? Was it something okay?
It was a list. It was some list.
That was your talking point list that you didn't have time for.
Something about Croaks hitting up someone for a romantic dinner. It was a list of...
no, that's right.
I can't just search remind me. It was last week. It was
I'm reading it out
Athletics Australia, Valentine's Day post.
Oh, yeah, that was weird, wasn't it? That was really weird.
Yeah, that was weird. I had Izzy Bat Doyle on a hot dinner date.
Yeah, that was weird. Don't do that with your runners. That's just trying to get clickbaity. It was just a bit weird.
Yeah, it was like, there was 20, 31 different athletes, and then it was I think it was the day or the date that you were born was the athlete, and then the month was what activity you'd be doing, and there was movies, romantic dinner, I don't know, heaps of different ones.
So the day you were born matched up with Izzy Bat Doyle, the athlete.
So 27th. So I'm born on the 27th. 27 was Izzy, and then August was a hot dinner date or something. Yeah.
Real
weird.
Hot
dinner date.
Romantic date or something. It was just a bit cringe.
Bit cringe post from Athletics Australia. Our friends over there. Be better, please. Hey, also talking point. How good's Lauren Ryan's manager? See that story last week about how her boyfriend broke up with her by text on Valentine's Day, and she went and won that race. Every news outlet in Australia picked that up.
Yeah.
Lyndon Hall broke the Australian record the same day, and not one of them did a story on Lyndon Hall. But that kind of stuff sells, doesn't it? I get it. I understand it.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. You think half of the time it's like, this is ridiculous. We need to let's talk about Lyndon's record. And then the other half's like, well, at least they're talking about a runner.
About running. Yeah, I understand. And I would love to know how that works. Like, do they just send like a press release, or does one of those news.coms pick it up, and then other news agencies read that, and then it goes like wildfire? She was on ABC TV talking about it. Like, it's one of the most publicised running stories I can remember over the last couple of years. And it was more so not about her performance. Oh, yes, it was. She won the race. But they really were there to talk to her about her boyfriend breaking up with her on Valentine's Day.
Well, while we're on that, this is a rehash of an old Moose on the Loose. Australian runners with American accents. Just can't do it. Like, you've been there 4 years. You lived in Australia for 20 years. I'm sure the 20 years is going to override the 4, especially when you're coming back all the time and you speak to your family back here. Like, I don't know. I don't like it. and it's be Australian.
Yeah, I agree with that one. Morgan McDonald's good at that as well.
He's but Ollie's not.
He's injured, Morgan McDonald. What did I say it was? He said on his podcast, stress reaction femur.
The femur?
Yeah, that's not good. He was just getting going. Had some soreness after the half marathon and then tried to train through it. That's a man who needs to stay in one, in one piece.
Bit of trouble in that group at the moment. Like Ollie hasn't been going great. Now you've got
we spoke about that on the monthly.
Now you got Morgan.
Post.
It's a real fine line. It's funny these training groups as well, because like maybe a couple of years ago, like the on group was almost like the pin-up group, gold standard. Everyone seemed to be running really well, and now they've I suppose they've still got Yared Nagoose, but he's a bit of a freak and will probably run well anywhere. But they don't seem to be going quite as well as they were a couple of years ago.
You know what? In the timing croaks, our man Jordan Donnelly left. A lot of injuries since Jordan Donnelly left that group.
Yeah, we used to carry around a little cart with all the goodies, foam rollers and spare spikes.
No one cares more about the athletes than Jordan.
But he brainwashed them into thinking that they got to train in these old fucking non-plated old school shoes, and now they're all injured. Just let them train back in the carbon super shoes again, Jordo.
But don't the carbon super shoes lead to more like higher up injuries like the femur?
Well, they're the ones that have stopped it. They're the ones that have gone off carbon. He needs more carbon in his life, I reckon.
That group have gone off it, have they?
Yeah, that was the whole thing. It's like they kind of.
I thought that was more Jordan's personal.
I don't know if that's the group views.
I thought that was
I think
more.
You'll be surprised. They always, even at all the sal ends on, sort of brag about how their athletes don't use the carbon for their tempo workouts and their fartleks and all that kind of thing. They'll tell you, we got this shoe out and the OAC group's using it for their training, and it's like the non-players.
Yeah, I've seen Claudia Hollingsworth maybe going through her shoe rotation, and she was
Maybe you should interview Morgan Moose and just record yourself again.
Remember that?
Wait, hold on a second.
Yeah, you fucked up 2 weeks ago, Croaks.
No, you stuffed up for giving me the keys 15 minutes before, and I've never used it.
You got an old man trying to work out a new computer program.
Zachar is the boss of Road to Ballarat. That's not my job. Anyway,
that would have been the worst feeling ever to see that. I know exactly what it feels like.
Yeah, those boys were very good, rocking up 2 nights in a row.
You did well, though. You wouldn't have been able to tell that you recorded it twice. The conversation was still flowing. Listener question, though, Croaks. Let's bring this show home.
All right. So this episode's listener question is proudly brought to you by Precision Fuel and Hydration. Take your nutrition to the next level. Check out the link in the show notes for their free online planner to nail your fueling and hydration strategy, or even book a one-on-one consultation. Visit precisionhydration.com. So the question is, hey guys, got a listener question that I'm keen to hear all your thoughts on. I've noticed some very good runners, including you three, are self-coached. How experienced or at what point in a runner's journey do you feel they're able to coach themselves? And what character traits do you think someone needs to successfully coach themselves? I'll try and find out who that question came from. I took a screenshot.
Brady, why don't you go first? You never take the first answer.
The character traits do you think someone needs to successfully coach themselves? So I think you need pretty good discipline, self-motivation, and routine. Like, there's 2 parts to getting a coach. I think there's the programming side of things, and then there's someone to communicate with about your program and to keep you accountable. So if there's a day that you don't want to do it, you kind of got the coach hanging over your head, and even paying for something too makes you accountable. It's kind of like people who get gym memberships to try get into a routine to go to the gym. So 2 parts to it there. I think if you're very motivated yourself and got good routines and got good discipline, you will be okay to coach yourself. However, you've then got to have the knowledge to be able to do the programming side of things. And still good, I think, and it's healthier to have someone, even if you don't have a coach and yourself coach, to bounce ideas off. So it might not look like a coach, but it might look like a close friend or a mentor, or I guess we kind of do it with this podcast a bit, boys, talking about our training here and there. So, yeah, if you got those character traits nailed for starters, and then got you'd probably need more than the basic knowledge of training. If you've read some books and listened to some people talk and got some kind of knowledge of how to build your training program, I think you can do it yourself.
I think you have to have a pretty strong philosophy of your own to coach yourself, because you have to make decisions on the fly, and you have to have, not just on the fly, but you have to make decisions about your training periodization and your different blocks and the purpose of the workout, and while you're in the middle of a workout, adjusting it. And your philosophy has to guide each of those decisions. And if you have a weak philosophy, or if you fluff around between different philosophies, or you're sort of just out there not really knowing what's going on, what you're doing, or what your aim is, that's when you start making the wrong decisions, and you start just basically training yourself into a hole, or you're just doing a whole heap of stuff without any real guidance, so you might not achieve what you actually want to achieve.
And that pick and choose, that's a dangerous spot to be in. When you're watching a YouTube video and go, oh, I'm going to do that workout, but then the next week it's like, oh, I heard this on a podcast. And I know you guys give me shit about it, but I'm not as bad as that joke. That joke lives.
You're pretty bad at it.
I do a threshold workout every week, and I do something a bit quicker than threshold.
But I look at you, Brady, and like, you've trained for a long time now.
Yes.
And you've peppered that 220 area. You've chucked some stones over the top. You fell short a few times. I look at you and go, you need a stimulus change. Yeah. You need to get someone in and go, let's get this guy training different. And I don't know what that looks like, but let's get him excited again about each workout. Like, let's not give him monofartleks. Like, let's give him something he's never done before. Yeah. And kind of get that real pep in your step, and get nervous about things. Like, wake up with some butterflies in your stomach.
Own terms.
Yeah.
That's like, and that's a comfortable spot to be in, and being comfortable is not always the best place to be.
Easily to fall back into what, like Lee said, what's comfortable.
Yeah. Which was one of the reasons why I went to Bendigo. I'm like, stop doing this shit by yourself around here. Like, get to Bendigo, do something different. Fastest guy ever's down there. But who moves? I'm open to the idea. Like, it has to be nearly a completely different model.
Yeah, well, there are a few different models out there.
Get on the double thresher, you reckon?
But you'd have a fair idea. So. You'd have a fair idea, though, of what, like, you've been doing it long enough to know what works reasonably well for you and what doesn't. So you'd obviously try and go towards a coach that, I guess, trains in a particular way that does suit what you're doing. Like, if you don't respond very well to like a heap of speed work, then there's no point going to somebody that's more like pure speed based. Like, it's
you don't want to get injured. If I said to someone, hey, I think that high speed stuff cooks my Achilles, but it's like, oh, you haven't done that for the last 2 years. Let's get you doing it, and then I've got a cooked Achilles.
That a good coach won't do that.
Yeah, I know.
But that's a good coach just going, hey, you haven't done speed work for a very long time.
Yeah.
Like, you don't just throw it at someone.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's plenty out there up and down the coast. Look at what's going on in Queensland. You look at who's doing well. Scott Westcott's doing well. You've got Collis coach Liam Buden to this good run on the weekend.
Jacko
Elliott, Benny Saint.
This is
Benita Willis.
I'm turning into Brady's training talk here.
I love that we're going sort of against the question in terms of what, like, this is like when you don't need a coach, but we're actually going, Brady, you need a coach for these reasons. And like,
yeah, but what happened to the theory that maybe 219, 220 is just what I do at a marathon booth? Maybe I'm getting maybe 219, 220 is just like a 9 out of 10 for me. And I'm just landing them all the time.
Floated that.
Yeah, I know, that's your theory.
Yeah. No, so let's go back to the question. Bring it back, Chris.
Well, I reckon we keep going on why Brady needs a coach, because the one benefit I found sometimes having a coach was it motivated me a little bit more, because I felt like I was running for more than just myself. Whereas when you coach yourself, you're like, you set whatever sessions you want, you go and race, but at the end of the day, if you have a shit race or you're having a shit race halfway through, you're like, whatever, I don't really care. Like, I'm not letting anybody else down. And whereas I actually really bought into that with my old coaches was that, hey, I'm out there representing them as well and like all the work that they've put in. And so I find that's one value of having a coach is it can actually lead to a little bit more motivation than when you're doing everything by yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And that accountability part.
Yeah, and you just don't constantly question yourself. So I think that's a sign that you maybe don't need a coach as much as somebody else is. If you're, and it sort of comes back to your philosophy, I suppose. Like if you're constantly questioning whether you're doing the right or wrong thing, you need a coach because you don't have any faith in what you're doing. I also think if you're the type of person that's not very good at listening to their body, because like one thing as a coach, I feel like we probably hold athletes back more. Like that's probably a big value in a coach. Whereas so many people, if they don't have a coach, they're probably going to do way more than what they should be doing. So you need to be somebody that's knows what load you can handle. So there's probably a couple as to when you can probably coach yourself.
Yeah, a lot depends on the personality of the person, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, the traits that they should have is discipline. Discipline is good, but I think almost in the opposite direction as well is someone who doesn't overanalyze things. Because if you're self-coaching and you're super analytical about everything you do, you're just going to tie yourself up in knots. Your head is just going to be a mess of thought. So someone who can sort of stick to the script, finish a workout, move on. Whether it's good or bad, move on. Don't dwell on it. That's a trait of someone who could be self-coached.
Good question.
There's another one.
It says,
how experienced in a runner's journey do you feel they are able to coach themselves? Because I don't think that new runners should coach themselves at all. They don't have the knowledge. I went through probably 4 coaches before I felt like I could even begin to start playing around, experimenting with some things myself. Not necessarily like fully coaching myself, but and that was through like trial and error with a bunch of different coaches and different philosophies.
Plenty to talk about there. Anything to add, Crokes?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know in terms of how long the journey. Like, I like to think like the athletes that I coach, especially maybe the ones that I see probably more on a weekly basis. That like if I wasn't there for a few months, I feel like most of those people would have the tools in terms of knowing what intensity they should be doing sessions at. So although, like, I feel like as a coach, obviously we write the programs for them, but you also want to give them the ability to actually understand how they should be training themselves. Like, not saying that you want them to, like, leave you, but you're also trying to teach them how to, I don't know, manage themselves, not just, hey, this is what you need to do.
Yeah, some people might be 50-50, you're like programmer, communicator. Other people might be like 20-80. Like they could do the program themselves, just need some help with, but they really enjoy like learning off you and having someone to, comment to, what do you think of these splits? How am I looking? What's the plan for the race? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like it really depends on what you want out of a coach as well. So I'm happy I just want a program. Like I don't necessarily like feel like I need someone to bounce ideas off and stuff, or like to be motivated by that.
The benefit I would have from a coach right now is I would probably be a little bit more invested in my own running. I'd probably care a little bit more, which I probably haven't as much in the last couple of years.
Nah, once you circle Valencia, mate, you'll be right. That record.
You'll get a coach for Valencia, won't you?
Probably not. I might.
Too stubborn for a coach.
I might reach out, throw out a few like ideas to people, but I don't know. Pretty simple sport. Are we done?
We're done, Crokes.
All right. Thanks to Precision Fuel and Hydration, Brady has relied on their products like the resealable 90-gram gels for his long runs, and plenty of elite athletes trust them too, including Olympians and ultra runners. Visit precisionhydration.com and use the code INSIDERUN2025 for for 15% off your first order.
Good work. What's coming up? We've got the Perth Track Classic coming up. There's a men's and a women's 1,500 metres. Jesse Hunt, Cal Davies, Peyton Craig all in action. And Tazawi, who's got a PB. He's from Japan, PB of 3:36. In the women's, Sophie O'Sullivan, Maudie Skyring, Nat Rule, Jaylah Hanckock-Cameron. Bits happening there, Craig. Some pretty good fields.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Tokyo Marathon Sunday as well. Jess Stenson in a flat marathon. It's hard to predict, fellas. You don't know what she's been doing. She puts the occasional run up on Strava just to give us a bit of a tease of what's potentially how fit she is. Bit of an Instagram video yesterday. Bit hard, like cryptic, wasn't it? To know what kind of shape she's in.
Yeah. When I was placing, what were the words she used, Brady? It was
she was talking about how she's gone there to like focus on her time though.
Yeah, but not in training, not necessarily like
chasing paces.
It's getting more confidence from how she felt during those sessions, and yeah, I don't know. I've got no idea. Do we know how to watch it? Is there a live stream?
Yeah, no idea. It's only Monday, Croaks.
Tokyo, it's got to be on something.
Yeah, that'd be a dodgy one getting around somewhere. Foxtel, no, it won't be on. Fox doesn't have them anymore. Seville, how good's that though? Just YouTube, click here, bang, just watch them straight away.
Yeah,
World Athletics is getting better. That could be my moose on the loose, like geo-block things. You're like, what? Just let the world see your stuff. Like, who sits there and goes, you know what, we're going to make this video unavailable for people who live in Australia? Like, there's got to be some reasoning behind it, but I've got no idea what it is. Anyway.
Above my pay grade.
Whenever you go to Let's Run homepage, you just can't click on any of the videos because they all just say not available in your region. You're just like, anyway, it's annoying. What are you doing, Croaks, between now and next week?
Nothing too exciting. Hopefully, a little bit more mileage again this week. Raiders kick off their season on Sunday in Las Vegas.
Oh, in Vegas?
Yeah, there's 2 NRL games over in Vegas to kick off the season.
What, they sent our boys, the Raiders, over there? That's a great idea. Dangerous idea for the NRL, though, to send the Raider boys over to Las Vegas.
Actually, I saw on the news today that two of the Raiders got into a fight at the hotel. I think they fought each other. No. That's not a great start for the team. That's not a great start for the Raiders.
What is going on? That is the worst idea.
Someone will get put in jail, surely.
They're trying to open the game up to the US market.
It's smart because like AFL is still 2 weeks away, so you get everyone watching it.
Smart until we see what happens.
Until 10 of them end up in jail.
Yep.
What are you doing, Moose?
I got a surgery this week on my ear. So you know how I have that issue?
Oh, yeah.
So
surface ear.
I'm getting that chiseled out on Thursday.
Good luck with that. Big procedure?
It's not small. You have to get in there and like you can either drill it or you can chisel it. And so they chisel it. Or I picked the guy to chisel it because the drill is so loud, so close to the eardrum that they don't. He reckons that it causes ear damage. So I thought, no, I'll get it chiseled.
Okay, as you do.
Yep.
What about you, Brady? Anything exciting coming up? Marathon sessions?
There's a fun run in Bendigo on Sunday, the Bendigo Fun Run, Bendigo Ford Fun Run, I think it is. They got a half marathon, so I was thinking about maybe doing a workout within the race down there. Just same thing, but I might get a coach in between now and then, boys, and see what they reckon about it.
I'd love to. Yeah. All right. So who's your top?
I'll come next week with a coach. Okay. I'll come next week. I've committed to it on air.
Except Brady, you've done I've got a marathon in 9 weeks. Write me a program.
9 weeks is enough. If you're a good coach, and I'm coming to you going, hey, I'm running 2.5 hours already. I'm doing 50 minutes worth of threshold work. That's enough time.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Don't give me that shit.
If you're a good coach.
If you're a good coach, you should be able to pull that off.
Yeah, it is.
9 weeks is a shitload of time.
That's not fair on the coach.
That's still not fair on the coach.
This is what you guys say every time. No,
like 16 weeks out to give them that sort of the 8-week prep phase.
Yeah, look, I've ran 160k the last 8 weeks.
Yeah, but maybe
they're not setting you up like they want you to.
Maybe that coach wanted you to work on your 5k speed in this 8 weeks.
I say I'm going to get a coach now. You always tell me not to get a coach. I've been doing fucking 400 metre. I've ticked every box in the last 7 or 8 weeks.
No, actually, I would like you
You've
to
done
get
every training philosophy in the.
I have not. I've done threshold work and some stuff quicker than threshold work and a long run. I haven't done any hills.
Do you know what, Brady? I would love you to get a coach, but
9
I would
weeks.
love you to have the coach.
If I don't run
from now
270, the coach is getting fired.
All the way through to Valencia. Give them that period of time.
I've got to get into Valencia first, Croaks, with the sub-elite. Yeah,
who's run well recently? Who's on the top of the list? Well, Collis after Liam's run.
Collis Birmingham deals with like Melbourne Track Club people.
Scott Westcott's the fucking king.
I'm not getting.
He's put someone at 2.6.
You can't go big dogs like that for just a little.
Tim Vincent's coach, Jack O'Elliott.
You are a big dog, mate.
Jack O'Elliott.
You've got the car deal. Andy doesn't have the car deal.
True.
You are the big dog.
Yeah. All right. Give me a short list.
You and Andy can do sessions together.
Give me a short list, and whoever's cheapest will employ. That's how we do it.
I like this.
Next week, fellas.
Watch your DMs light up this week.
It's gonna. Oh, I've said no. Do not send me a message. This is not. Because remember last time we said this, I got fucking hammered with DMs, and I appreciate the people who wrote in. I really do. But it was more me than you. That's why it didn't work last time. But yeah, leave it with me. I'll see what happens, boys. All right. See you next week.
See ya.
Done.
Bye.
Thanks to the 2025 Buffalo Stampede Festival by Single Track Events for sponsoring this week's episode. Don't forget to use the promo code INSIDERUNNING10 for a 10% discount off a race entry and your chance to win one of 3 pairs of ASICS shoes. Sign up now at www.buffalostampede.au.
And I'm gonna hold my head up high. I was told as a young man, doesn't matter if you're white or black. Just show love to everyone you meet. Doesn't matter if it don't come back. Undercover.